Welcome everyone to another chapter of Automate with Dave. So today we are going to see another tutorial on Blueprism, that is order fields in collection. As you all might be aware, one of the most trivial tasks in any automation use case is sorting. Sorting is not only an essential part of forming any structured content but also plays a major role in generating reports for business users. As you are already aware of what a collection is, let me recap. Collection is a 2D structure in Blueprism, and sorting can take place in two ways. The first way is a row by row sorting, where we can sort the rows either in descending or ascending order with respect to any given field or column, as shown in the figure. Blueprism already has a custom action created to sort collection based on rows. The sort collection action under collection manipulation VBO allows us to do that. As you can see, this is the input parameter for that particular action, where the action will take three inputs. First is the input collection that needs to be sorted, the second is the field name on the basis of which the sorting needs to happen, and the third is this order in which the rows need to be sorted, either ascending or descending. Now you can see the output parameters. The first is the output collection where the sorted elements will occur, the second is the flag value indicating if the action got executed successfully, and the last is the exception message. The second kind of sorting is a column by column sorting, where we can sort the columns of the fields in any custom order that we want, as shown in the figure. Unfortunately, we don't have any action to implement such a use case in Blueprism. Well, let's not worry, we can always build a logic of our own with our favorite code stage. Thanks to the team of RPA2s and Vivek Goel, we have a new custom VBO capable of extending the actions to our original collection manipulation business object. To know more about this VBO, please visit the link given in the description below. Let's first go through the algorithm that we are going to use, shall we? We will first provide two inputs. First is the input collection, the collection whose field needs to be reordered, and the second the fields collection, the field names that have been initialized in the order it needs to be arranged. Let's say my input collection has 4 fields arranged in the order, namely gender, marks, name and age, and we have a fields collection such that it has only one column field name. It has some initial values such as name, age, gender and marks. Then our output collection should be arranged in the similar order as that of the field collection, that is name, age, gender and marks. We are going to see how that happens. So this is my first collection, where we have columns like gender, marks, name, and then we have age. So this is my input collection. Then we have one more collection. As you can see, there are 4 rows in this collection. The name of the column is field name. The values are name, age, gender, and then marks. So these are the values arranged in the same order that we want in our output collection. Now we will have our output collection once this action will be executed, such that it will have 4 columns, so that the first row of field collection will be the first column name of the output collection, that is name. Similarly, we will have the second column name as age, third column name as gender, and then we'll have the last column name as the last row value, that is marks. So this will be our output collection. So this is what we actually want from our action. Now the second step is we will first loop through the data rows of the fields collection and have the incremental count being updated starting from 0 before the loop. We will then use the set ordinal property of columns object for the input collection, which will help us assign the column index in the input collection, and then at the end of the loop we will keep on incrementing this incremental counter, and then at the end we will assign the output collection to input collection. So this is how your code will look like. So without any further ado, let's automate the use case and let me show you how we can modify the code a bit for some of these scenarios.
So now we are going to see how we will be writing that code for ordering collections. Before that, there are some prerequisites I just want you to know. This is the same business object that we created in our previous tutorial video. So you have to take the same object if you want, or you can create a new business object. Make sure you go to the initialize page. Here you click on the page descriptions page. Go to the code options and make sure like you have these two system.data and system.collections namespaces imported. So remember to import any namespace, you just click on add, and once you click on add, you can simply just type this system.collections and system.data if they are not added by default. For now, I won't be adding anything, so I will just remove it. So I already have these added. At the end, make sure your language is Visual Basic, since we are creating all our business objects in Visual Basic language. Now you can click on OK. So once you click on OK, what you can do, you can you can right click here, and then it will come like new. So once it comes to new, you can just name your action. So I will name it something like order collections. Okay, so now I have order collections action. Now what I can do is I now need to create certain collections and data items. So for now I will create one collection, and this collection I will name it as input collection. So this is the collection whose fields we need to sort. I will add 4 fields. I will name them something like A, B, C, and D. So these are my 4 columns, and I will name it. I will give them as text for now. Just to test, we can do one more thing. We can add some random values if you want, so that we can see if it's, we can see how it's getting replaced and stuff like that. So I will just I will just input some random numbers, right? So this is just for testing purpose. And once I've done this, I can just click on OK. This is how my input collection looks like. Now similarly, what I can do, I can create one more collection here, and I will name this collection as fields collection. So I'm going to name it as fields. So this collection, what I want is, I don't want these many rows. I will just remove everything. I just want one row for now. I will name it as field name. This is how my field collection looks like. And in the field name, I need to make sure I give all the column names that I want in a specific order. So in my case, let's say I want first, let's say D, then I want C, then I want A, then I want B. So I will name it like that. Okay. So make sure that your input collection has those columns only. Otherwise, there will be an error that will be thrown. Okay. So I have like A, B, C, D, and here also in the rows, if I go to initial values, I have D, C, A, B. So this is the order that I'm going to specify. And at the very end, what I will do is I will have one more collection here that will be output collections. Okay. So we have created the basic structure here right now. In the output collection, I need not specify anything. I can make it as a blank collection only. This is a dynamic collection. This is a dynamic collection that I have here. So these are the 3 collections that I have. Now in the start, what I can do, as you know, you have to add 2 input parameters in this action. So I will name it the same way. So let me first drag the input collection, and also let me drag the output collection. Okay, I will name them accordingly. Input collection, and I just list E here. Okay, and then I will just simply name this one as fields collection. Okay, and if you want, you can put some description as it updates your BOD. So for now, I won't be doing it. Let me click on OK. So I have these collections there, and in the output, in the end stage, I can set one output collection, that is this collection. I will name it something like a output collection. Okay, this is my output collection. Okay. Now once I have everything set up, I can use a code stage. So this will be my code stage here. Right. right? And if you press F3, the link will be automatically there, and if you press F2, you will come to the pointer mode. I will double click here, and in the code stage I will write order collection. And once I write this here, I have to also set the input and outputs here as well. So here my first input would be the input collection, the second one would be the fields collection. Here I can name it something like input underscore collection, and here I can name it something like fields underscore collection. So it depends on you how you want to name them. And here in the output collection, I will again drag this here, and I will give this one as an output collection. So I will simply name it as output underscore collection. Now let me go to the code. So now here in the code, let me browse in this. So you can see there are three parameters. First, input collection, field collection, which is of in type, and output collection is of out type, and everything is system.data table. So now what we are going to do is, now remember, first we need to see what we need to do is, we need to set each and everything that is defined in your fields collection in a specific order. Now to do that, if you remember the algorithm, first we are going to use an incremental counter. So let me do that. I will write something like dim count as integer. And what I will do, I will set the count equal to 0 before going there. So I have done this. Now what I will do, I will loop within my fields collection. So I will write something like for each data row obj as system.data row in, and here now what we need to do is we need to iterate within the. Now remember, if you remember within the previous video, we looped within the data row array, not the data table. So what I will need to do here is I will write fields underscore collection dot data rows. So this is what I have with me, and here what I will write is a next to end my loop. Now the next thing I will do is, you see, I will simply go here. I will write data row obj dot. So firstly, I have to do one thing. I will be inserting. I will be now setting the columns of each of my data row objects. So what I will do, I will first call this particular table, that is input collection. So I will go to input collection, input underscore collection dot, and here I will write columns, since I want to define which column do I need to set. So now if you remember, the column name is defined within my fields collection, like I have defined each and every column name here. So this column name is getting called by this data row obj. So I can write data row obj in bracket. What I can do, I can write either the column name or even I can give the index. The index starts from 0. 0 will be the first column, 1 will be the second column. So I can simply write a 0 here. And here what I can do, I can write something like a dot to string. So this is a function to convert this particular object into string. And once I do that, now the columns has one more property called as set ordinal. And this is the most important property that it has. So set ordinal, what it does is, whatever index position you will get, that column will be set to that particular index. So I am saying that in my input collection, what you do is you first find the first column, you first find the first column that has been defined in that particular fields collection, and you set its ordinal to that incremental count, that is count count. Now, at the very first time when you will enter the loop, the count will be 0. So whatever is defined in my first row, that will be getting set at 0 index. And after that, what I will do is I will just increment this count by 1. So if you see the logic, every time you are entering the loop, so whenever I have, let's say, my first row, so whatever is defined in the first row of data row will go to the first index, that is 0th index. Then it goes to 1, then it goes to the second row. So whatever is defined in the second row of the fields collection will be automatically set to ordinal 1, that is the second column. So like that, each and every time your indexes will be getting implemented and your object will be set. Now let me check the code once to see if I made any error or not. So we have written it's like data rows is not table. Okay. Okay. So yeah, the mistake that I there was, it's not data rows, it's rows. Yeah. So now if I do this, now let me check the code once. So if you see, my code is all right. And now what I will do is, I will simply click on OK. So once I do this, now let's see what my input collection is previously. Now it is A, B, C, D. And what I have defined is B, C, A, B. So my output collection, which is now blank, should have ABCD. Also, we forgot one more thing in the algorithm. We just quickly add that. That is, once I have looped through everything, I also want to define my output collection to input collection. Otherwise, there is no use, right? So I will just add output collection equal to input collection since I have made the changes in my input collection. Okay, because in input collection, my ordinal was getting set. That's the reason. Now I will click on OK. Okay, and now I will try to see what my output comes like. So if I press a 1 F10, so now if I press F10, it's F10. So if you see now in my output collection, I have something. So here is D, C, A, B, the order that I wanted. So this is how I did this. Now, so now I'm going to show you one more method in which you can do this. So this is a different requirement. So now what I will do is click on duplicate. Okay, I will name it something like order wise. So what is order wise? I will tell you. So this is a requirement where what might happen is, like let's say in my field collection, I have set these parameters like TCAB, but sometimes I might want it in a descending order or in an ascending order. Like in a reverse order also I might want it like B, A, C, D. So what I can do one way is I can explicitly give these values, but every time if I give it explicitly, that increases my dependencies, right? So what I can do here is I can create one more data item, okay, and I can name this data item something like a reverse, okay, and this is a flag kind of data item. So even this value will be an input parameter, okay. I can add this one like reverse, and in the description I can write like do you do this if this flag is enabled as like if this flag is set as true, then it means that the field collection would be read in reverse order, and I can name this as a flag, and yeah, here I give it as a reverse. So the thing is, this reverse flag can help me control the sorting order, and what I exactly mean by that is I will show you now. Here let's say if I put my initial value as false as of now, okay, so what I need to do is I just need to do some changes in the code. Okay, in the code also I will be adding one more thing called as reverse. Okay, and this reverse I will be making this reverse as a particular flag value, and this is an input parameter. So now in the code, if I go, I just need to add this reverse condition. Now how I will add this reverse condition? It's a very simple logic that I will be using that I will show you. So here, as if you see, we are using dim count as integer and we are setting count as 0. Now what it does is it starts the ordinal from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now if I need to make it reverse, it means that I have to read the and like the number of data rows, and then I have to iterate it in a reverse manner. So what I can do simply here is I can write here a condition. Let's say if reverse equals to false, then okay, then it means that I will be doing this. Otherwise, I can write else and I can just give it like end if. Okay, so I have not written the logic in this end if, but for reverse is false. It means if I don't want to reverse it, it's the same logic that we have written, right? because it will be reading it in a straight manner. It won't be reading it in a reverse manner. And this is what we want. But let's say now if I have to write the else condition, what I will write is first I need to set this count value. Now this count value will be simply set as something as I will tell you. I will first count the total number of rows. Like how many rows do I have? Okay. And how I will do it is simply I will here write as, so I have to count the total number of rows I can say in my fields collection. So that many times actually it is implementing. So what I can write is I can write fields collection dot rows dot count. Okay. So it will provide me the total count, this total number of columns that I have there. Okay. And what I will do is now I will now simply write here is for each. Okay. And I don't need to even write it. I can simply copy it from here. I will just make some modifications and I will show you what the modifications will be. Okay. Now here what I can do is I will write for each data row as object in fields collection dot rows. Now here if you see input collection dot columns data row of 0 dot to set ordinal as count. Now remember this count will be the total number of rows. Now let's see if I have 4 columns, my so there will be 4 rows in field collection also. So the count will be 4. But if I set the ordinal as 4, it will throw me an error because the ordinal count starts from 0 to n minus 1. That is the total count minus 1. So what I can do here is I can simply first write here count minus 1. And then it means that if the total columns are 4, then this value will be 3. So my count will be starting from 3 and it will keep on decrementing one by one. So I will decrement. So I will do count minus 1 and then it will keep on going on. So this is how the reverse logic will work, and we will check this also. So what I will do, I will first check the code and see if there is some error or not. If I don't have any error, I will click on OK. And yes, order wise I have got this. Okay, and this is in false condition right now. So first let me check for false condition. In false condition, the value should be something like DCAB. Okay, let's see this. I will set it at next stage, and then I will simply press F10. And if you see, it's DCAB. Okay, so it's working fine. Now let me do one thing. Let me set the initial value as true and the current value also as true. Now what I can do, I can click here on set next stage. I can click before that also let me try to reset it, otherwise it might throw me an error. Now I will try to set next stage it. Now I will press on F10 and again I will press on F10. Now if I see the current value is BACD. Now BACD, if you see, I will show you. BACD comes from here. If I go to fields collection, here is BACD. It means it is taking everything in reverse order also. So this is a requirement that you might get. Like if let's say you want an object that can work both in like let's say forward direction and backward direction. This is a logic you can use. Now let me show you the third scenario that I have for you. And this scenario is I will show you how it looks like. So let me name it something like order collection index wise. So orders collection index wise, what this means is, let's say I don't have a specific structure, or let's say let's say I want to specify even a more details to my field collection, like at what position which particular element should be added or not. So what I can do here is first let me remove this reverse. I don't need this, right? And similarly I will remove it from here. So reverse is something I don't want to do now. Okay, and from here also if I want I can remove it. Let's remove this. So now what I will do is in the fields collection I will add one more field. Okay, and this is something called as a field position, I can say. Okay, and now see for user I will try to make it as simple as possible. So here I can say that the field position starts from 0. Okay, so this will make life easier for the user. Okay, sorry, it starts from 1 not 0, because from 0 if I do Sometimes people make a mistake, like if I want to say this is the first column, I would prefer to write it as 1 rather than 0. So let me give it like that. Like if I want to make some field as position 1, I will write 1, not 0. So how it works is, let's say I have these many fields. I can say that C column should be my first column. So it's 1. I can say the A should be my third column. So it's like 3. I can say B is my fourth column, and I can say B is my second column. So this is how I can give the field positions. Okay, and I will click on OK. So my fields positions are set. As my input collection is was already set. Now I have to make some changes in the orders collection. So now I will show you what are the changes. Now here, if I see the changes, right here, if you see, I don't need this block anymore. Okay, and I also don't need these many blocks for the else count because this was a reverse logic. I don't need that. So I simply need this much code. Also, this count I won't read anymore because count was doing the index, was doing the work of an index for me in the previous case. But right now I don't want this anymore. So okay, we have made these many changes, and I don't want to increment the count also. So only in here, only one simple change I have to make. I will tell you how we will do this. So it means that for every data row object in this field collection, what I am doing is, in the input collection, I'm first seeing what is the column name. So this column name is the first row. Let's say this is the row, this is the current row in my field collection. And my ordinal, the position would be the second column of field collection, because field collection initially had only one column. So I was writing data row obj0. Here what I will write is, here I can explicitly make it as an integer. I can cast this, and here what I will write is data row obj, and here I can make it as 1. So this means that whatever is the value of the second column of the current row, that is the field position, you set the ordinal as such. But here now there is one issue that you might face, and what the issue is, now since I am setting everything from 1, so like I can say 1, 2, 3, 4, but ordinal always take the indexes, if you remember, from 0, not from 1. So to make it easier for user, we set it as 1 because it is easier for user to say first column, second column. So what I will do here is, I will just make one little change, and that is I will make it like -1. So like if I say, if my I am saying first column, my if this value, if this whole value, let's say, is 1, it means actually the value is 0 with respect to ordinal. Okay, for user it is like the first column, but for ordinal it is the 0th column, 0th index. Okay, so like that I will be putting it. Let me now check the code. So there is no error here also. I can simply click on OK. And now let me just check what happens. Okay, I will set it as next page, and then I will try to press F10. Now if I see CBAD, and now let me check the column index here. So first was C, then B, then A, then D. You can also try a different combination and just check 1, 2. Let's make it like this: 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 3. Okay. So the arrangement should be A, B, B, C. Let's see if it works or not. Okay. If I do it, if you see now, this is ABDC. So this is how you can make these three kind of actions from one place only. And to make it even more robust, I will also tell you a best practice that you should use is, in this collection only, what I can do is, now let me also show you one thing. First, let me show you why we need to make it robust. If I made this index as, let's say, something as 5, okay, now if you remember, this is 5, so my ordinal will be 4. But to be honest, we have only 4 columns, we don't have 5 columns. So what will happen is, if I name it like this, okay, if I try to do a set next stage, it will throw me an error saying your ordinal exceeds the maximum number. Now this is throwing me an exception or an error. Now let's see if I don't want it. to be thrown like an exception rather than I want it to be seen like a message. So I can use my exception handling within my code only. And I will show you how you can do that. For robust coding, you can use the try catch mechanism here. So here you just need to write try, and let's say here this much block is my try block. Like I want to try this code, and then if any error comes, I want to catch it. I can simply write catch, and then I can write some variable. I can give some variable like some object or some variable I have to define. So I'm writing catch ex as exception. So exception is the generic exception class. There are also many type of subclasses in exception that also you can use if you know the specific exception. And here what I can write is, I can simply write as end try. So end try means everything, whatever I was trying will be ended here. Now here, what we can do here is we can use a message here. Okay, so now for message, what I can do, I can go to outputs. Here I need to add something like I will add a new variable called as message. Okay, and this message will be of type text. Okay, so this will consist of my error message. And if I want, I can do also one more thing. I can put a flag also. So this is like a success flag. Okay, so it will tell me if my particular action got like it got failed or it was like successfully executed. So this is a success flag. And in the code, what I can do, I simply have to do one thing. Here I will be using a try. Okay, I will be writing try, and then here I have to just write a catch. So like try and catch we have written. Okay, so we'll cut 1, 2, 3. So now what I have to do in the code, in the try, in my catch block, now what I can simply do is I can simply assign this message equals, I can write ex is the object which will have a method called as message. So it will give me the exception message. And here what I can give is, I can give the success flag as false. Okay. Similar thing, I will just copy these two codes. If my whole task is getting executed successfully, in that case, if I don't want to give any message, I can put a null value, and here I can put something like a true. Okay, and so this is how this will work, and we can just now see if it is working or not in action. So what I will be doing is, if you see here are two data items, success and message. So let's now let's see the fields collection. Our initial value is 5, so this will show me an error. Okay, but let's see if error pops up or not. So if I press F, so let me first go here. I pressed F10. Okay. Okay. So if you see, the success flag is false, and in the message I am getting this particular error. So I am getting the full error here. Okay, this one. And now what I will do, I will also now test the positive case. Okay. Now let me do one thing. Let me make it back to 4. If I change it back to 4, okay, and if I try to do this, and if I press F10 twice, you can see the message is null, but the flag is true. So this is how you can perform error handling in your tasks, and this will help you out in your processes.